Welcome back. So something different today. It was over 2.5 years ago I did a video on how I didn't see myself as an alpha male. I've done videos as well on being a shorter stature male. And the funny thing is that there are people that argue, hey, there's no such thing as being treated differently because you're shorter as a man. That's crazy. I'm a short guy and I da 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 da. And then, if you check the comments when I do meetups, you can see that there's definitely people like, oh, he's so short. And anyways, so I wanted to talk today about something that I know has become popular, and it's become popular because it's referred to as the loneliness epidemic, and it's there. And there are definitely a lot of young males who do not have girlfriends and are looking on the internet for advice, and the people who are waiting to advise them are giving them bad advice. And I'm making this video because while I don't follow these people, I see enough online to know that this is out there, and to know that there are people that I have been friends with, or I have come to become acquaintances with, if not friends, who are going through that, and it can be tough. Back in 2014, when I went through an ugly breakup, it was ugly for a while, and I did not meet my wife until a little over 2 years after that, and it definitely caused me to have some pause before starting a new relationship, where I was concerned like, hey, this really took me out for some time. This really fundamentally altered me as a person. So do I want to get into another relationship where that could happen again? And I'd had some iffy experiences as well in between. And I had made mistakes in between, and I was concerned about making mistakes. And so there's definitely an audience for these kinds of relationship experts, as they call themselves. But to me, it's just a pickup artist under a different name. Now, pickup artists are basically, here's your one night stand, here's how you lie to some young lady and you give her some drinks, and before you know it. And I've never done any of that. I don't approve of any of that. And I think the first thing I want to start with on the board here is that no does mean no. I know it sounds weird, but if a woman says no, it generally means no. And any woman that I have dated, any woman I've been involved with, I have not asked out and had them say no. There's never been an instance where I've asked somebody out, they've said no, and my attempts to woo them have worked. It's not a thing. It's in my life, it has not been a thing. I'm not saying it can't be a thing for other people, but to put this out there that if a woman says no, the answer is to try harder. Yeah, that's an 80s romantic comedy movie. In reality, it doesn't work all that way. The movie Pretty in Pink, there were people who wanted her to end up with Ducky, but she didn't end up with that. Why didn't she end up with? Because girls don't go for guys like him. They didn't back then, and it's reality. If a girl isn't interested, she's probably not going to be interested later. There are instances where a woman will say, oh, we've been friends for so long, I never noticed. You're the one for me. Sure, that can happen, but, I mean, really. And talking to them. So for all the advice that I see these guys throwing out there, none of them are. Talk to them, find out what their interests are, find out what they like, what they don't like, find out right down to their favorite colors, favorite movies, favorite everything. Now, they might be a weirdo like my wife and not have a favorite color. I still find it odd that she doesn't have a favorite color, but I move on from it. She has non-favorites, colors she doesn't like, but that's the thing. Yvonne and I started talking online in April of 2016. We did not meet in person until September of 2016. We took months, and during the summer prior to us meeting in person, we would talk online for 5 or 6 hours a day. And I would talk to her when I was at work. I would talk to her after work. I would talk to her, and we just talked. And it was mostly via text. I don't think we talked on the phone at all. Every now and then I would make a YouTube video that was specifically for her. It was unlisted, and it was just specifically for her. It's not like that. Come on now. Get your mind out of the gutter. But I would, and one thing that I did too was I was honest, and I said, here's my flaws. Here are the things that have tripped me up in the past. Here's where I know I need to work on stuff. Here's absolute problems I know I have. So I didn't just build up all of my positives. I made sure that she understood what she'd be getting into if we got involved. And I gave her all the outs in the world. All of them. And I think that worked in the positive. You can ask her, but I think that worked in the positive. Now, one thing I keep seeing is this whole high quality woman, high quality man. I don't understand the terminology. I don't. Like, there are good looking people and not good looking people. There are smart people and not smart people. There are people who have accomplished a lot and they have a lot of money, and then there are people who just haven't. And in some cases, they don't have money not because they're lazy or stupid, but because they haven't had the same opportunity as other people who have money have had. And a lot of the time, people who have money grew up with money. So, right? And so the whole high quality thing, and I have to mention the key lock thing, because guys throw this out there like it's some brilliant frickin' genius Stephen Hawking BS, and it's not. The idea is this, that a key that can open many locks is considered to be a master key, but a lock that can be opened by many keys is not a very good lock. The idea that the woman is the lock and the man is the key. No. No. And this is an argument that's been going on for a long time. I remember when I had not had a girlfriend and I would hear guys like, "Oh, she's easy, she's this, she's that. She goes with anybody." And I would even say to them, "But didn't you actually see her for what? Weren't you one of the people that she key locked with?" And oh yeah, well yeah, but I wouldn't now. Are you sure you wouldn't now, or is it that she wouldn't now? Because she didn't like it, and so she moved on, and so now she's this low quality, and you're not like the whole quality argument is stupid. It's ridiculous. I don't get into conversations about my past very often when it comes to key lock situations with my wife. We don't have, because it doesn't matter. What she and I did before we started dating each other does not matter, outside of some legal issues that would matter, but thankfully we don't have that either. I'm not going to say it doesn't matter. If you find out that the guy that you're with is basically Dexter, that matters. If you find out that the woman that you're with is basically kind of like Glenn Close in Fatal Attraction, make sure you don't have a rabbit or that she can't get near it. But this high quality thing, I just find it so baffling, so bewildering. So it's this idea that it's this absolutely perfect, beautiful, pristine woman who has never, ever been on even a date with another man. So, fictional characters, to quote Ben Affleck in Jay and Silent Bob Strikes Back, I don't do that. There's no such thing. A lot of the girls that I've been friends with over the years, and a lot of the women that I've become friends with over the years, so right from high school through until now, some of the best friends I've had, some of the most honest people I've had, might be what they would consider to be low quality. Some people that I've been friends with have done OnlyFans. Some friends I know have done that kind of thing, and I've never said, "Well, you're low quality." I've never turned my back on any of them. It doesn't tip the scale for me one way or the other, because it's what she wants to do, and if she's happy doing that, I'm not in a position to criticize. Clearly, there's no market for any of this, and so I'm not going to be in a position to judge. If they can make money doing that, then good for them. It's a safe environment. They're controlling that themselves, and I don't see the harm, because for men who are lonely, that can help with that, where you're getting those kind of girlfriend comments from them. I've seen that they send over, and the way that they run their business, I think that could work for guys who are really lonely, and I don't judge. I don't judge the guys who are paying, like I don't judge the ladies who are selling out videos or whatever else, right? So, I don't believe in the whole high quality thing. I just don't. Because I don't think people are produce. I don't think people are, like fruit you'd find on a stand and go, "Well, this person's got blue mold." I mean, if a person has blue mold, maybe. But anyway, I don't get it. But have you tried talking to them? Is like I want to make sure that I'm driving this home. Talking to women makes a big difference. Even if you talk to them for hours and there's no chance of any kind of romance, girls have friends. One thing that I think of looking back is I would get hyper focused on one female that I would say, I really like her. She's really nice. She's great. And I would decide I'd like to make her, my girlfriend. I'd like to ask her out. And she may sometimes be interested, sometimes not. And I had some instances where there were friendships that it felt like there was that chance. And at no point, because I was stupid at the time, did I think she has friends. Do you think maybe she has a single friend? Because we're really good friends. Do you think maybe she has a single friend that, nah, never occurred to me, never thought of it, not once, nah. Never, no. So that hyperfocus can be dumb. It can be really dumb. I know before I ever talked to Yvonne online, and we met on a dating site, and it was on OkCupid, and it gives you a percentage of how much you match up with people. With Yvonne, it was 92%. I kept going, well, I mean that's a really high compatibility, and so I would find some way to talk myself out of it because I felt like that seems too high. Like it's just I'd find some dumb reason, some stupid reason, and just don't. Sometimes websites have the and as while I say this, there are other dating websites that will tell you we're only going to recommend people that we think are really high chance of being compatible with you, and then as time goes by, basically they'll just everybody in your area is compatible for you. They want you to find somebody. So yeah, but talking helps. So, and not finding reasons not to talk to somebody helps too. The one part I always find interesting with these relationship experts online, these gurus and everything. So if they're so good at this, where's their girlfriend, their wife? Where is this person who's going to say, you know what, this works? Where are these people to give a testimonial to, you know what, he wooed me. He did. And all the crap he says worked on me. Well, yes, I did have a brain injury about 10, 15 years ago. Why do you ask? It just, I don't understand this. And they they'll have fancy cars or fancy whatever, but no proof that any of it belongs to them. So there's that, right? But yeah, I don't understand taking relationship advice from somebody who basically is telling you how to go to a bar and pick somebody up. It's basically what it comes down to. Or go to the gym and pick somebody up, or go to all these places that women kind of want to be left alone and try to pick them up. Because, sure, why not? Have you tried talking to them, though? Like, actual conversations. When I was single before I was in a 15-year relationship, there was nothing. It was just, I was as lonely could be. I was part of my own epidemic. At that point in time, I was just called a loser. There was no loneliness epidemic. It was just, well, he's a loser, which... guilty. But after I was with someone and I relaxed around women and I wasn't pursuing anybody. You know how with a cat, if you're too hands-on and you're too overzealous, the cat's not going to want anything to do with you. But if you ignore the cat and you kind of like whatever with it, it loves you. Women aren't exactly like that, but it's not totally far off. If you treat them the same as everybody else, and if you're like, yeah, hey, how's it going? And you just leave them alone, They like that better. In my experience, they've liked that better. And so when I was working at the call center especially, and I was with somebody, I wasn't trying to pick anybody up, all of a sudden, young ladies were interested. And I was like, huh. And I kept thinking, well, where were you when I was single? Where was, these beautiful young women? And it came to me later, I'm talking to them different. I'm talking to them as just a guy who's just talking to them. I'm not hitting on them, not trying to pick them up. There's other guys here who are hitting on them, trying to pick them up. So that was where that worked. And of course, once I was single in 2014, then you go back. And that's the problem, is that as guys, we seem to tend to fall into some of the worst behaviors for finding somebody. So there's that, but I'm happily married now. I'm never going back into the dating pool. If something unforeseen were to ever happen, I'm going to stay single. I'm going to go live in the mountains. I'm going to go full like Brian Wilson. I'm not getting out of bed. Like, cats everywhere, and just recluse, total recluse. Dating, nah, won't even think about it. But anyways, I understand that society has changed, and I'm acknowledging that in this video. It's changed a lot, and dating has changed a lot. The idea of dating the way that I would have in my late teens, early 20s, it's not there. People don't seem to go out like they used to. Society's really, really completely changed. So I understand that it's tougher. And the other problem is that women have that option now. There was a point in time in society where women didn't really have an option of staying single. You at points in the past, not that long ago either, women couldn't give any kind of credit. They couldn't get a credit card. There's no way they could get a mortgage. Everything involved, you have to have a husband for all this. Now they don't. They don't have to have all that. So it's led to more independence on their part and less reliance. So situations where 40 years ago, one might have been like, well, I kind of have to take this situation. Now they're like, I don't have to take that situation and I'm going to move on. And so it does make it more difficult, but it's just that's the way things have changed. I know there's people trying to get the horse back in the barn with that one, but I think that's gone. I think that's just it's done. So everybody just kind of has to adapt. And then with some of these gurus and everything, what drives me nuts, and I say this a lot when I see accounts that have big followings on social media, and especially when they say big crazy BS claims, and these guys are definitely in that, but so are a lot of other blue check marks on Twitter, as a for instance, big accounts on Instagram, TikTok. What are they selling? What are they trying to get you to buy? And I'm talking like the crypto bros, supplements. Supplements are big. What do you do if you have low T? Work out. Your testosterone levels dropped. Yep, that's called nature. Nature works that way. Work out, and it's going to be harder. I think part of it is they always make it seem like this will fix everything. Crypto, you're going to get rich. Don't you worry, you're going to be rich next week. Now, supplements are going to make you all big, and you're going to look like John Cena. We can't all be built like that. I work out 5-6 times a week, and I'm not going to look like, I can't look like John Cena. I don't have those genetics. There's a reason why every professional athlete is built somewhat differently, because we all have different genetics. And it's just a reality. So when I see these guys who are, like, oh, look at me, I could look like me if you do. No, I can't. I can't look like you, dude. I can't. So, like, I could go work out tons. I'm not going to look like them. I used to lift weights, and I still had chicken arms. And no matter what I do, I'm still going to have chicken arms. It's just that's how that works. I remember, my build and looking at myself in the mirror and going, man, what? How do I fix this? And then the first time I watched on the Olympics, I watched a marathon, and I went, built like me, built like me, built like me, built. Okay, yeah, all right, these are my people. And to this day, I watch the marathon, and other than the fact that I've rounded out a little bit in my middle age, I still look and I go, yep, that's how I'm built. Not a lot of muscle in terms of the upper body, but legs, yep, for days. And I've always had that. It's just how I'm built. It's just how I am physically. So when I see these guys selling supplements, or even worse, a course, you don't need a course to pick somebody up. You don't, because it's not a thing. Unless that course is specific for your city, your population, like trying to date in different parts of the country are going to be different. Trying to date in different neighborhoods is going to be different. Like, it's just, people are different. Like, you go to different schools in different parts of the city, you're going to find completely different students and how they all interact. Dating is going to be the same way. There is no cookie cutter way to solve loneliness. There's no cookie cutter way to find a date. Your best option is to talk to women, preferably many women, let them speak to you, have opinions that are different than yours, and not feel the need to correct them when their opinion's different than yours is a big one. I will jokingly do that during live streams to Yvonne, because I know that the mansplaining thing just drives her crazy. And it's fun. And I don't ever actually do that with her. I've never actually done that. I avoid the mansplaining as much as humanly possible, because I know how irritating that can be. So I get it. And I wanted to end with this because this is something I saw the other day on social media, which is some of the same people do this. If you look at Jennifer Love Hewitt, I think she's 46, and you say, "Oh man, look how big she is. She's not attractive." Okay, she's 46. I think she's had 3 kids. I think she looks fantastic. I think she looks amazing. And in terms of women in their 40s and 50s that I know, Jennifer Love Hewitt would still be better looking than most of the women I know in that age range. The idea that you're a certain weight and you're in a certain shape in your 20s and you can maintain that throughout your life. Some people can, a grand majority can't. Grand majority of people don't, and they won't. And that's okay. It's not a huge deal. It's something that a lot of people have to come to terms with as they get older. And I think it's great that she's not getting a bunch of plastic surgery, a bunch of things done. There are a lot of people right now on Ozempic, a lot. I look at the fact that so many people are on the same drug right now, and I keep thinking to myself, the other shoe's going to drop. What's going to happen? Because throughout my lifetime, any drug that's the miracle drug, eventually there's a nasty side effect that comes out, and everybody ends up regretting it. And so that's where I'm at on all that. I would never touch anything like that. I've heard of some of and they're not horrible side effects with Ozempic, but some of those side effects, like I have a very sensitive stomach, so it would never work for me. Because from what I've heard, it really does a number on your whole digestive system. So, no. And I think expecting people to stay 110 pounds. Jennifer Love Hewitt in the 90s, I thought got too skinny. I did. I honestly thought and I've for years thought that women in Hollywood and modeling especially, that they have this standard, and I've talked about this on this channel before, that unrealistic beauty standard. I think we should be holding up people who have a normal looking figure and a normal look to them and saying this is normal. This is what happens. But when I see somebody on social media be like, I hope I never look like this, and I'm thinking, you hope you never look like Jennifer Love Hewitt? Are you kidding me? Are you serious? You can't be serious. You can't. I find that just alarming. And the fact that some of these same bros who are going to talk about high quality would look at her and go, why would we want that? I don't know. She's been married to the same guy for a long time. They've got 3 kids. She's happy. What's the problem? The only person whose opinion on her looks would matter to her, in my opinion, would be her husband's. And as long as Jennifer Love Hewitt's husband thinks she's hot, there you go. It's much like for me, I don't care if anybody else were to find me attractive because my wife finds me attractive. So that's what matters. And I've talked to her about, the whole manscaping thing. Yeah, she's not interested in me doing any of that. And just as a tip too, I've never had an instance where I have a girlfriend or I'm in a relationship and a woman has ever said to me, "Oh, you got chest hair though. I don't like that. It's ew." Guys are generally the ones that don't like chest hair. It's so weird. It is so bizarre to me. It's so and when I see some of these, especially on the dating shows where nobody's ever wearing anything and the guys all have this weird triangle, I'm like, you've got a beak of hair stuck on why is there a beak? It's shaped like a chicken beak right there. Do you think that that's just weird? Why shave everything except this weird triangle? Where it doesn't show except unless you're shirtless. So it's odd. I find that whole thing strange, but that's my opinion. And so I don't care. And if other women are happy with them, they're happy with them. I think that the best advice I could give to people is be comfortable in your own skin, because you're not going to attract anybody else until you're comfortable in your own skin. And for guys, a lot of the time, it's this unrealistic standard of who they think they can get. That I can have a 10. I mean, you could, but that shouldn't be the standard, right? And for women, they can choose. They can be the ones in control and have that choice, which is fine. I don't think it's a bad thing. But that's my opinion. And I just wanted to share that because, again, I know that a lot of my audience are usually in their mid-20s. They're usually male. And so some people could be going through some loneliness. I've been through it. I was lonely for the first 25 and a half years of my life. Then I was lonely for another 2 years after that ended, and there was some loneliness during the relationship. Because here's the thing, and I will tell you this, you can be lonely while you're in a relationship too. This whole, well, these people are lonely because they're single. There are plenty of people who are in relationships that are pretty bloody lonely. They don't have time together. Maybe they don't get along all that well. They're cordial, but there's no spark. And so you can be lonely in a relationship as well. And I think that was an epidemic nobody was talking about back in the 80s, where there were plenty of people who were not happily married. They just stayed married because, well, what else are you going to do? And so they'd fight, or they wouldn't talk to each other. There'd be no romance. They'd sleep in different bedrooms. Like, you can be lonely in a relationship. So it's important to build a really good relationship and talk. Always talk. I'm good at the talking side of things, as this video's runtime would tell you. There you go. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. As always, hit like and subscribe in the event you may not have done so already. Thank you guys so much for all your support. And for anybody who's going through this, I'm not meaning to do any mocking or anything, but I'm telling you, some of this stuff that the relationship guys are trying to sell, it's crap. And I think they know it's crap. There's no way they believe a lot of the stuff they say, because it is fundamentally flawed. For the guys who are rich, though, yeah, if you're worth millions, you can probably treat people like crap and they'll still hang around with you because you're worth millions. But if you're broke, like I've been broke most of my life, doesn't work out all that well. So anyways, thank you guys so much for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.